Well, retailers often check your ID for some purchases, but now Fox 5 viewers are saying that store clerks actually want to swipe your driver's license. Fox 5 team's Dana Fowle tells us what this means and why on earth they're doing this. Good morning, Dana.
Well, I mean, we're all familiar with having our IDs checked for certain purchases that require an age limit. I mean, there is that, cigarettes, alcohol, some over-the-counter drugs. That's normal. But today, some retailers are asking for your ID, but they're swiping the information and they are capable of storing it.
They started scanning my driver's license to buy a pack of cigarettes, and I kind of felt that that was a little bit of invasion of my privacy.
Angela Christensen says she felt confused. She was at this Villa Rica Dollar General, but it's a practice being used more often by a lot of retailers. Does that bother you?
It bothers me greatly. That's why I called you. I think that's too much information.
According to the Georgia Department of Driver Services, this barcode on the back of your driver's license, the one that retailers swipe, contains all sorts of information that's on the front of your ID, like name, address, age, and your physical description.
So all of that information gets transferred to the retailer system. So then the question is, A, does the retailer really need that much information? And the answer is most likely no.
Dennis Shaw from Georgia State University says when this information is captured, then stored, it raises three big issues. Is the information secure? Will the cardholder be notified if there is a data breach? And what does the retailer plan to do with that valuable information? The Fox 5 team reached out to Dollar General's corporate headquarters, and this is what we were told, that they are committed to meeting or exceeding state regulation and industry expectations, and the barcode is solely to validate a customer's date of birth. No other personal information is obtained or even stored. Some states have what are called swiping laws.
That really clearly laid out for how many days retailers could store that information. They had to store it for only X number of days, after which, they had to delete it.
Georgia has a law, but it doesn't go that deep. It only requires that the customer be told the ID will be swiped and that the information is used only for legitimate purposes. Still, Angela Christensen is not comfortable with any of this yet.
They don't need to know anything but my birthday.
Now, this is an interesting note, I think. What is one of the places that is most concerned with security? The airport, yet they don't feel compelled to do that swipe. They ask you for your ID, they look at it, you pull your mask down, they compare the photos, and they hand it back. Elise?
Okay, I'm kind of like the woman in your story. Like, what do you need this for? Is what I think so many of us are wondering, Dana. But do you think we'll start to see more of this, though?
We absolutely are going to start to see more of this. The software is now available, and the Georgia Consumer Protection Division says that, and you should note this, that the retailer is supposed to ask you for permission to swipe. They can deny you the ability to buy that there, but they have to ask you for permission. I went to a retailer and bought something that required an ID. I was not asked permission. So if that's important to you, you should get ahead of that.
Interesting. So I can't believe that you actually tried this, Dana. And I remember earlier you said that you told them you weren't comfortable with that, and it was kind of like, well, we're going to do it, or you can go to the next store, is kind of what your experience was, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to tell you, I was not expecting to wake up that day and go buy a pack of cigarettes.
It's all in a day's work, Dana. You don't know what you're going to do day to day. Too funny. All right, Dana, thanks for the help. Have a great weekend.